Hi, Abigail. How are you today?
Great. It's great to be here. Thanks so much for taking the time to chat.
No problem. Thank you so much for speaking with me and making the time. I know you're extremely busy today, so I will try and keep it as short as possible. But let's talk your book, Becoming a Movie. First off, how does that feel?
Oh my gosh, it feels incredible. Like it's launch day today. I posted a photo of our entire cast and crew in Taipei, and it makes me cry to think about all the work that went into this film. I said to them, this day is it belongs to them. It belongs to them.
So let's go all the way back to when you were first crafting this story. Did you ever think that it would go from being just a book to this worldwide sensation that it is?
Well, I think I've been bitten by the bug a couple novels prior. There was no overnight success here. I wrote 5 novels on the way to Loveboat Taipei. And with the third novel, I did have agents say, hey, we really could see this as a movie. Your writing is like, cinematic. And so with Loveboat Taipei, it was such a big story, with 30 different Asian American characters and going on this crazy journey that had always been kind of like the secret within our community. And so that definitely was the hope. When I went out, we had a lot of agents interested in it and they were pitching film. And then we did an auction with the publishers, and everyone I spoke to was also pitching different film ideas. So it definitely was a hope from the start, but we knew that it would be a hard journey for any film. It's so hard to get any film all the way to the screen. And I knew that being such a different story with an all Asian American cast, that we were going to be facing different challenges. And I'm so thankful that we got all the way here.
I would like to think that you kind of think of this as your baby. This is your words coming to life. Is it hard for you to kind of let go when it's becoming a movie, to let the director, let the screenwriter make their own changes without thinking, no, don't do that, or
So I describe the experience of just seeing my work iterated over and over in different ways as like Loki meeting the multiverse, right? It's like Loki meeting another Loki over and over again with every take that I heard from the screenwriters and then every iteration of the script with Charlie O. And then on set, as we like filmed take after take after take, and we would like create alts and like everyone, people come in, the actors will do it with different emphases. I just felt like I could see like it is me. The story is deeply personal, and yet it gets to be reflected back at me in so many different ways. And so I think of the Love Boat Taipei film as like one just small delicious slice of a piece of the entire story. And as you know, there's 3 books in the trilogy. The third Love Boat Forever novel drops November 7th, and so for me, I just feel so incredibly lucky to have these talented people working with my materials and then creating something incredible together.
now, how much involvement did you have in the making of the movie? Because I know sometimes authors take a step back and they're like, I'm going to leave it up to you guys, and other authors want to be all in. So, how much involvement did you have?
Well, it was really important for me to be involved. My team and I both felt strongly that, especially about in terms of the authenticity of representation of this like very uniquely Asian American story. So I was involved from the beginning, but I didn't have creative control. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
something that no author has. And actually, in some ways, after going through this entire process, you have 300 people involved by the end. And in some ways, no one has full creative control because every creative will bring their own sensibilities to the project. And it's a matter of just trying to sort through all that out and create a final 90-minute product that can go on the screen. But I was involved with selecting our screenwriters, and then we went through the casting process, which was really important to me to open up to the world. I knew that we were going to be looking for young new stars, so we did have an open casting call. I didn't see all the audition tapes, but I got to see like a subset of them, and then the final selections. And then I was on set in Taipei the entire time. We were there during the height of pandemic, so it was a closed set, which I think really created this magical experience where it was like all of us on set together, and then we would romp around Taipei together, and we joked that it was a kind of a Love Boat experience for us too.
For you, when you're crafting a story, do you have specific people you envision playing these characters already, or do you just craft these characters as whoever you want them to be? They don't actually exist in real life.
That's right. Yeah. So my characters are inspired by people that I know, or their internal journeys are mine. Rick is actually modeled on my husband and his friends. When I first met them, they're actually all Asian American jocks who were at Princeton. And I was like, when I first met them, I'm like, what? I didn't know people like this existed. And so, they kind of, but I also felt like people like that, they did exist and they weren't reflected in media and how we see, how we saw Asian American representation on the screen. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was like one of the fun examples of the diversity in our community that I could show. So we had, we had Asian jocks, we have like Asian artists, Asian Americans, and just all walks of life, because that's who we are as a community.
What I love most about your book, because I've read the two, I'm super excited for the third one. But what I love so much is not only do you focus on your characters, but you also focus on Taipei, and it's a love letter to the city, in my opinion. I read it and I was like, I want to go. Like, I want to go and see these spots. So for you to actually be there while that was filming, what was that like for you?
It was a magical time. I had been to Taipei 5 times. The first time with my family when I was 12. The second one, I went on the actual Loveboat program, and then the third and fourth to research for books 1 and 2. So the fifth time was filming with the set, and it was miraculous for me to have gone from being like just by myself in Taipei doing this work to suddenly being in Taipei with 150 people. And I have loved that community that's grown up around this project.
So for you, was there a particular scene that as you were watching it be filmed, or when you did see the movie, that you were like, this is way better than I could have ever imagined it to be?
Well, I knew that with the film, we would be able to lean into the city itself, as you talked about. And, Arvin actually is an architect major. So you can see that reflected in like just all the buildings he captured, the circular doorways behind the characters, the view of Taipei 101 from different angles, in the night market. So I think all that I was excited to see, and it definitely exceeded my expectations.
Well, for my final question for you today is, what are you hoping fans get from the movie?
So a number of things. I think the most, there's several. Like I would say, like being able to recognize that their stories matter, that they can be the main character of their own stories, and also for the world to see just that diversity and that humanity in my characters. Like that my characters, they fall in love, they make bad choices, they make good choices, they move forward and make better ones, and that they're involved in their communities and their families.
Perfect. Well, congratulations on opening day. I'm super excited for everyone who has yet to check it out. Hope, for them to check it out. And thank you again so much for speaking with me.
Thanks so much for your time and for all the support for the film.